What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into something absolutely insane. Something that will literally keep you up at night staring at the ceiling. We're not just talking about your average spooky stories or ghost encounters. Oh no, we are going way bigger than that. We are blasting off into the deepest, darkest corners of the cosmos to uncover mysteries that have baffled the smartest people on the planet for decades. These aren't just puzzles, these are cosmic enigmas that challenge everything we think we know about reality itself. I'm talking about things so vast and so strange, they make your brain hurt just thinking about them. I have spent weeks, literally weeks, digging through scientific papers, conspiracy theories, and declassified documents to bring you the 5 most mind-blowing, bone-chilling space mysteries that will haunt you forever. Alright, let's kick things off with something absolutely massive. Imagine you're on a raft in the middle of the ocean. You can see for miles, but no matter where you look, you notice that all the other rafts, all the debris, everything is moving in the same direction, not just drifting, but being pulled by a powerful, invisible current that you can't see or explain. Now, scale that up to the size of the entire universe. That, my friends, is the dark flow. It is one of the most baffling and controversial discoveries in modern cosmology, a cosmic mystery that suggests our universe is not as uniform as we once believed it to be. Scientists, using incredibly powerful telescopes like the Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe, or WMAP, were studying the cosmic microwave background radiation. Think of this as the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, the baby picture of our universe. They expected to see tiny, random fluctuations in temperature, but instead, they found something shocking. They detected that huge clusters of galaxies, hundreds of them, spread across billions of light years, were all moving together at over 2 million miles per hour in a single, uniform direction. This discovery completely broke the standard model of cosmology. According to our best understanding of the universe, after the Big Bang, everything should be expanding away from everything else, more or less uniformly. The gravitational pull of nearby galaxies can cause some local motion, sure, but nothing can explain a coordinated movement on this colossal scale. It's like finding a massive highway in the middle of what should be a random, chaotic explosion. This flow is pulling on hundreds of galaxy clusters, including our own local group, dragging us towards a specific patch of sky between the constellations of Centaurus and Vela. The implications are absolutely mind-bending. What could possibly have enough gravitational force to pull on a chunk of the universe that's billions of light years across? And the scariest part? Whatever is causing this pull is located beyond the edge of our observable universe. Alright, let's move from the incomprehensibly large to the incredibly specific and spooky. For our second mystery, we're tuning our cosmic radio dials to the year 1977. On the night of August 15th, an astronomer named Jerry Amon was working at Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope. His job was to sift through mountains of computer printout data, looking for anything unusual from the depths of space. For years, the search had yielded nothing but cosmic static. But on this one particular night, something happened that would go down in the history of astronomy forever. As Dr. Amon scanned the data, his eyes caught a sequence of letters and numbers so unusual, so powerful, and so perfectly formed that his heart must have skipped a beat. A signal had been detected that was unlike anything he had ever seen. It was a narrowband radio signal, meaning it was focused on a very specific frequency, much like a commercial radio station. The signal lasted for exactly 72 seconds, the maximum duration the Big Ear telescope could observe any single point in the sky as the Earth rotated. It was incredibly strong, peaking at over 30 times the intensity of the background noise of deep space. It was so shocking that Dr. Amon grabbed a red pen, circled the alphanumeric code 6EQUJ5 on the printout, and wrote a single word in the margin. Wow! That simple, spontaneous exclamation gave the most famous and mysterious signal from space its name. The code itself, 6EQUJ5, represented the intensity of the signal over time. A U was an intensity of 30 to 31 times the background noise. This signal was so powerful, so distinct, and so seemingly artificial, that it immediately became the prime candidate for a genuine message from an extraterrestrial intelligence. The signal came from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius, near a globular star cluster called M55. This region of the sky is dense with stars, providing countless potential candidates for the signal's origin. The Big Ear telescope was immediately pointed back at that exact patch of sky, hoping to hear the signal again, to confirm that it wasn't just a fluke, but there was nothing, only silence. In the days, weeks, months, and years that followed, astronomers from around the world have pointed their most powerful radio telescopes at that same spot in Sagittarius. They have scanned it over 100 times, listening intently for any repeat of that 72-second burst of energy. They have found absolutely nothing. Alright guys, for our third space mystery, we're looking at something that's supposedly right above our heads. This isn't millions of light years away, this is supposedly in Earth's orbit right now. It's called the Black Knight satellite, and the story behind it is absolutely insane. People who believe in this think there's an ancient alien satellite that's been circling our planet for thousands of years, long before we ever launched Sputnik. Imagine that for a second, while humanity was figuring out how to build pyramids or sail across oceans, something from another world was already up there, watching us. The story really kicks off in the late 1800s, way before the space race. I'm talking about Nikola Tesla, the genius inventor. In 1899, he was doing these wild experiments with radio waves, and he started picking up these strange repeating signals. He thought they had to be coming from space, maybe even from Mars. He was convinced he had made contact with an alien intelligence, which for that time was a mind-blowing claim. Obviously, people thought he was crazy, but Tesla was dead serious. Fast forward to the 1950s, and things get even weirder. The US Air Force, which was tracking everything they could find in the sky because of the Cold War, suddenly announces they've detected not one but two mysterious objects orbiting Earth. This was in 1954, 3 years before the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, the first ever man-made satellite. Think about that. Officially nothing made by humans was in orbit yet. So, what were these two objects? The most famous piece of evidence for the Black Knight is a set of photographs taken by NASA astronauts during the STS-88 mission in 1998. The photos show this weird, dark, jagged object floating in space against the backdrop of Earth. To believers, this was it. This was the smoking gun. The photos were clear, they were from a credible source, NASA itself, and the object looked nothing like any known satellite or piece of space debris. It looked alien. But here's the thing. NASA has an official explanation for this object, and it's way less exciting. During the STS-88 mission, the astronauts were doing an extravehicular activity, or an EVA, that's a spacewalk. One of the astronauts, Jerry Ross, accidentally dropped a thermal blanket. NASA says that the object in the photo is just this lost thermal blanket, tumbling away from the shuttle. It makes sense, right? It was a real object, it was there, and it was lost during that exact mission. The weird shape could just be the way the blanket crumpled and froze in the vacuum of space. So, who do you believe? On one hand, you have NASA, the literal space experts, giving a perfectly logical, if boring, explanation. On the other hand, you have the believers who say, come on, look at it, that's not a blanket. So when you line up all the evidence, it starts to look less like a conspiracy and more like a collection of separate, unrelated events that have been stitched together over 100 years. The legend of the Black Knight isn't really a single object, it's a modern myth. Alright, so imagine you're in a massive cosmic tug-of-war but you can't even see the other team. That's literally what's happening to our galaxy, the Milky Way, right now. We are being pulled, dragged across the universe at an insane speed of over 1 million miles per hour. And it's not just us. Every single galaxy in our local supercluster, a group of over 100,000 galaxies, is being yanked in the same direction. It's like the entire neighborhood is getting sucked into a giant, invisible, cosmic vacuum cleaner. The reason we can't see it is because it's hidden behind the zone of avoidance. That sounds like something from a sci-fi horror movie, and honestly, it might as well be. This zone is the plane of our own Milky Way galaxy. It's packed with so much gas, dust, and so many stars that it basically creates a massive blind spot in our telescopes. We know something unbelievably massive is back there, pulling on us with unimaginable force, but our own home galaxy is blocking the view. We're talking about a gravitational pull equivalent to a quadrillion suns. So for years, scientists have been trying every trick in the book to peek behind this cosmic curtain. They're using X-rays, infrared, radio waves, literally anything that can cut through the galactic smog. They are desperate to get even a glimpse of what this great attractor actually is. Is it a super cluster of galaxies so massive it defies our understanding? Is it some exotic form of dark matter we've never seen before? Or is it something else entirely, something so strange that we don't even have a name for it yet? Just when you thought this couldn't get any weirder, scientists discovered something else. While we are being pulled by the great attractor, we are also being pushed from the opposite direction. That's right, there's another equally massive anomaly on the other side of us that appears to be a giant void. This area has been nicknamed the dipole repeller, and it's essentially creating a cosmic push that works in tandem with the Great Attractor's pull. It's like we're caught between a giant magnet and a giant fan. This whole system of pull and push defines our home supercluster, which astronomers named Laniakea. That's a Hawaiian word that means immeasurable heaven, and it's the perfect name for it. Laniakea is a colossal structure containing over 100,000 galaxies, all flowing like water in a river towards the Great Attractor. We are headed directly for the Great Attractor, which itself is part of an even larger structure called the Shapley supercluster. This is the largest concentration of galaxies in our local universe, a true cosmic megalopolis. Okay, we just talked about a place with way too much stuff. Now I want you to imagine the exact opposite. Imagine a place in the universe that is so empty, it shouldn't exist. A place where there is nothing. I'm not talking about the regular emptiness of space between stars. I'm talking about a void so colossal, so profoundly empty, that it defies all of our theories about how the universe is structured. This place is real, and it's called the Booty's Void. It's sometimes called the Great Nothing, and for a very, very good reason. It is the definition of cosmic horror. The Booty's Void is an almost perfectly spherical region of space that is nearly 330 million light-years in diameter. It's so big that if our galaxy were at its center, we wouldn't have even known other galaxies existed until the 1960s. Based on our best models of how the universe formed after the Big Bang, a void of this size should not exist. The universe is supposed to look like a giant cosmic web, with long filaments of galaxies and superclusters surrounding large but much smaller voids. Think of it like a sponge. There are holes, but there shouldn't be a hole this big. The discovery of this void was chilling for astronomers. They were mapping out galaxies in the sky and pointing their telescopes toward the constellation Bootes, and they just kept finding nothing. So the obvious question is, where is all the stuff? A region this massive should contain tens of thousands of galaxies. But instead, we've only been able to find about 60 galaxies inside the entire Bootes void. And they aren't scattered around, they're all clustered together in a single lonely tube-shaped filament running right through the middle. It's like finding one tiny sad little street in a state that is otherwise completely unpopulated. This raises a terrifying possibility. What if the matter wasn't missing to begin with? What if it was removed? One of the more out there but seriously creepy theories is the idea of a supervoid being created by the merging of smaller voids. I want you to try a little thought experiment. Imagine you are in a ship and you fly into the Booty's Void. For millions of years in every direction you look there is nothing, just blackness. You would be utterly and completely alone in a way that is physically impossible to experience anywhere else in the universe. It's a level of isolation that is so profound, it's a form of cosmic horror all its own. There is a 330 million light-year hole in the fabric of reality, and we have absolutely no good explanation for how it got there. It is the most lonely place in the entire universe. And that's it. 5 mysteries from the depths of space that are guaranteed to keep you up at night. From a ghost satellite orbiting our planet, to a giant invisible force pulling our entire galaxy across the universe, to a hole in reality so big it shouldn't even exist. The universe is so much bigger, weirder, and scarier than any of us could have imagined.